And welcome back to The World Tonight. Right now, you're looking live at images right there from Golden, Colorado. Build Back Better is the sign. Of course, that is President Joe Biden's domestic agenda, and there he is. We're waiting for him to deliver remarks underscoring how the investments in his bipartisan infrastructure deal and Build Back Better agenda will help tackle a number of issues. They include the climate crisis, modernize our infrastructure. The president is stepping up to the podium now. We'll let him speak, and let's listen.
Thank you very much, Julian. Governor, and I want to thank you as well for all you do. You know, and the IBW is one of the outfits that, as they say in Claymont, Delaware, that brung me to the dance. And they're the best in the world, and really great seeing you all working together. Dr. Keller and the NREL team, thanks for welcoming me here. And Governor, it's good to see you again and your whole team. Lieutenant Governor Primavera, Attorney General, Secretary of State. You know, you got the Mayor Hancock. I think he's here. He was here. I thought I saw him earlier today. I want to thank you for the welcome to Denver and for making the trip out here. And my friends in Congress. Chairman Baker, thank you for being here. My team, we have the Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm, who I always say, were she born in America and not Canada, she'd be standing here as president. But she's doing a heck of a job for me and for the country. And a proud electric car driver as well. And also the former Secretary and former Mayor of Denver, Federico Pena, a good friend of mine who's here. There you go, friend. Good to see you, pal. While I couldn't be here, I wanted to mention that the senator and my nominee for ambassador to Mexico is Ken Salazar. And I'm glad to see Congressman Perlmutter and Nuggies and Crow. I want to thank you all. You have other places to be, I know. You had three good friends who wanted to be here in Washington today right now. So, you know, there's a lot. Senator Bennett and Hickenlooper and Congressman DeGette, they're all in Washington doing what they have to do. When you look at who you've heard from, it's clear. Whether you're an engineer or at a lab bench, or an IBW worker working on a combine, a turbine. When you work for a power company or a small construction business, everyone has a role to play, and everyone is building a clean energy future and a stronger economy, because that's what it's about. And we need everyone's contributions. We need everyone's contributions. Yesterday, I saw firsthand the devastation of the Caldor fire in California as we flew over in a helicopter. And the last 2 weeks, I traveled to Louisiana, New York, and New Jersey, see the destruction from Hurricane Ida. More people killed in New York with flooding, 20 inches of rain, and what's happened up there, then were killed when 178-mile-an-hour winds hit Louisiana. Extreme weather, we're seeing, is only going to come more frequently and with more ferocity. And we're blinking code red as a nation, and we really are. So far this year, nationwide, there are 44,000 wildfires that have burned nearly 5.6 million acres. That's enough. That's the size of the entire state of New Jersey, burned flat. They've caused billions of dollars in damage and forced tens of thousands of people to evacuate their homes and businesses. And even if it's not in your backyard, you feel the effects, as you mentioned earlier. You turn on the local weather, in addition to telling what the temperature is and what the precipitation will be, you want to know what the smoke forecast is going to be. When parents fear letting their kid out to play outside, it may trigger an asthma attack. You saw the vicious cycle this summer when heavy rains combined with the burn scar of 2020 Grizzly Creek fire. It resulted in mudslides, as was pointed out, that washed out an entire section of Interstate 70, adding hours of people's drives and cutting off a vital commercial artery. The bottom line is it's everywhere. It's everywhere. Communities that nearly 1 in 3 Americans call home have been struck by weather disasters in just the past few months. Hurricanes in the Gulf Coast are up this eastern seaboard. Wildfires threatening throughout the West and tearing it apart. droughts and heat waves across the country, devastating farmers and ranchers and draining the Colorado River. In addition to the lost lives shattered, extreme weather cost America last year $99 billion. $99 billion extreme weather cost last year. And it's going to break the record this year. It's going to be well over $100 billion. We know what the driver is, climate change. We know what's causing climate change, human activity. This is no longer subject to debate. And I might add, windmills do not cause cancer. You know, look, we got to get real about what's going on. I really mean it. Think about it. The only debate is around what we do to confront this crisis. And that shouldn't even be a debate. You know, we have to invest in being more resilient because of the impacts of climate. The climate change is current today, not next year, not 10 years from now. We have to make the investments that are going to slow our contributions to climate change today, not tomorrow. And here's the good news. Something that is caused by humans can be solved by humans. I've set a course for the United States to achieve 50 to 52% reduction in greenhouse emissions by 2030. And for us to reach that net zero emissions in the economy, economy-wide, across the board, by 2050. As part of that, I set a goal of having our country produce 100% carbon pollution-free power by 2035. We can do that. We can do all of this in a way that creates good jobs, lowers cost to consumers and businesses, and makes us global leaders in an entirely new industry that other countries are really working hard to try to dominate. I just toured the Renewable Energy Lab, which I haven't been here, not the same lab, but I haven't been here since 2011, which was started under President Carter and expanded under President Bush, H.W. Bush. Leaders of both parties have recognized that clean energy future is an economic imperative, and a national security imperative, and an environmental imperative. That's why my Build Back Better plan calls for significant new investments in upgrading research infrastructures, laboratories all across the country. We'll be making one of those breakthroughs in solar, wind, and storage out of these facilities. Out-innovate the rest of the world and drive down the cost of renewable energy. Of course, we have to invest in the future. We need to deploy cutting-edge technologies. And we have to employ them today, not tomorrow. I had a chance to see the state-of-the-art wind turbine testing and new battery technologies. Because of the years of work that have taken place here, and these technologies aren't science fiction. They're ready to be installed and scaled up across the country right now by union members like the ones we heard from today. And that's what we're going to do. You know, as we just heard from the CEO of Xcel Energy, they've set a goal of producing 100% carbon emission-free power. They were the first major utility to set that goal. And today, over 20 large facilities around the nation have set a similar goal. You led the way. Today, one of every 3 Americans lives in a city or a state transitioning to clean energy electricity. But folks, we have to pick up the pace. When I rejoined the Paris Climate Accord after we had been pulled out of it, the goal set when our last administration, the Obama-Biden administration, when that was set, they were set that we had more time. We don't have the time now. The goals are different because the necessity is there. We don't have a lot of time. We don't have much more than 10 years, for real. And this is a decisive decade. Already the price of solar generation in this country has dropped 80% over the past decade. 80%. The price of a wind turbine generation has dropped 55%. And a lot is because of the investments we made in the Recovery Act back when I was vice president. And today, renewables are now cheaper than fossil fuels in many parts of the country. Now we need to take the next step of continuing to drive prices down and job creation up. Because those renewable goals create demand for more wind turbines and more installations, solar installations, which means good jobs for workers like Julian and his union brothers and sisters. And you can see why I think of climate change. When I think of it, I think jobs.
All right, so we were watching President Biden talking about his Build Back Better program, and he says this is a decisive decade, stating that by 2030 we need to be creating a clean climate and becoming more resilient in determining our future based upon climate change. And he also talked about how climate change has impacted so many communities. 1 in 3 Americans who call their communities home have been hit by extreme weather just this year alone. We'll continue to follow the developments of the president.